Today's technology tidbit is going to be walking through setting up those DTD2 groups in your database, adding contacts to those groups, and then walking you through pulling up those groups each week as you follow the never-ending referrals and move system. So you guys ready to get started? Let's jump right in. We are going to be operating beginning from your Keller Williams dashboard, and that dashboard is located at mykw.kw.com. From there, we'll be entering into the eEdge system, and we do that by using the eEdge control panel, which is this rectangle in the center of your page to the right side of your profile photo. Now, there are different ways to get into the eEdge control panel, all of which will take you into eEdge, by the way. However, these represent shortcuts, these four on the left-hand side: my leads, my contacts, my marketing, and my email. Those are simply shortcuts to specific things within the eEdge system. Well, because we are creating groups and groups contain contacts, the shortcut to groups is through viewing your contacts. So please click on View Contacts. Now, once inside the eEdge system, you'll notice that it obviously looks different, and all of your navigation for the eEdge system are across the top in this dark gray toolbar. Now, today we're going to be operating in the Contacts section. Now, what you should see on your screen when you clicked on View Contacts are all of the contacts you currently have in your eEdge system. Now, today we're talking about creating groups so that everyone in your database will belong to at least one group. So in order to create those groups, you'll click on Contacts so you get the additional drop down. When you do that, you'll see Manage Groups, and you'll click there. Once you're within the Manage Groups section, all of the groups that you've created in the past, if you have, will show up on the page there. If you have not, then your page will be blank. You'll see here that I've actually already created all of the DTD2 groups. A couple of things that I'd like to point out here are this. You'll see that next to a particular group, you'll be able to see how many contacts are in that particular group, rather. You'll be able to change their contact type. You can add or associate them with a touch campaign, or you can just simply change the name by hitting the edit button, or you can delete that group altogether. So let's jump in. We are going to create all of your DTD2 groups. Here's how you do that. Up in this upper right corner where it says Create New Groups, you simply put your cursor there and you create the new group, and that's the name, and you're going to save that. It is literally that simple. Let me share something with you that's vitally important when we're doing this. The eEdge system does not accept punctuation or signs. So for instance, our groups are A and W, B and E, C and K, D and O, so on and so forth. Well, the system doesn't accept the sign. So we simply are going to create the groups by just naming them A, W, and then you would click Save. Now, I'm not going to click Save here because I've obviously already saved it over here. So right now at this moment, I would say stop the video and create all of those DTD2 groups so that you have them all created within your system. Once you've created all of those groups, now we've got to add some contacts to those. So here's how we do that. You'll go back up to Contacts, you'll click so that you get the additional navigation. You'll click on All Contacts so that all of your contacts launch. And you'll see that they're not in any particular order. Up at the top, however, you can sort them based on different criteria. So if you'll click on that, I'd like you to sort it by last name. So now when you do that, you'll see in this particular case, the default was it's sorted from W to A. If I'd like it to go the other way, from A to W, I simply click the arrow next to the sort, and it will change it now from A to W. So let's say that my first group that I'm going to add people to would be A and W. I would then click next to anybody that starts with the letter A or anybody that starts with the letter W. And once I've check marked all of those names, I'm simply going to come back to the top of the page and click Bulk Update. When you click Bulk Update, this additional pop-up shows, And it's asking you, what would you like to do with these records? And you have two options. You can either edit the records, or you can delete them and put them in the trash in your contact management system. In this case, we're actually going to edit the records, so you click continue so we get the additional pop-up. In this pop-up, you have different options, and yet today what we're looking at is we're looking to add them to a particular group that we've just created. So I'm going to click, so I check mark the groups. I'm going to check the appropriate group, and you'll see all of the groups that I have created are here. And then I'm simply going to click Update Now. So now both of them are in the group AW, and I would continue that going through all of the groups until all of your groups have contacts in them. How does this work for you? Now let's go back up to the top to contacts and click on Manage Groups. All right, so now we're back to that Manage Groups page. Well, here's where the magic happens. Because you've created the groups, you've taken the time to go through and add all of the appropriate people to each group based on their last name. Now you can come in here and you can click on the number next to that particular group. And what it will do is it will pull all of the contacts that are in that particular group. This is the list that you're working in that week. And there they are. This is all your A's and W's. Now let me point out a couple of really cool things that are on this page. You'll notice next to Andrea that email is not dark blue like it is next to Jackie. Well, it's because there's no email for Andrea. However, there is a telephone number, so I can click on that and her telephone number would show up here so that I don't have to actually open up her contact and let the system eat up some of my time. It's just a cool shortcut. Now, let's say that you're having a phone conversation with Andrea and she tells you that one of her daughters is going to be in a ballet in the next 2 weekends, and they're so excited. This has been a really big dream of hers and she's worked so incredibly hard. Well, when you get off the phone with Andrea, if you'll go to the right-hand side over here under Actions, you'll see where it says More. Well, click on More. And then it says Add Note to History. And then you would type a note about the daughter in ballet, and I would write certainly more than I'm going to write here. And then you would post that to Andrea's contact information. So now the next time that A and W cycles through and it's your week to be calling the A's and W's, you can simply click on Andrea's name, you can click on her history, and you'll see that now I've got a note in there about her daughter in ballet. So now when I reach out to her, I can recall and talk about our previous conversation, which makes her feel really, really important. That's where the magic happens in this system. So be certain that as you're having those conversations, take a moment to jot down a note so that when you're reaching back out to them in the future, you can bring up those past conversations. And that's how the system really works for you. Let me go back to all contacts and show you some other cool things. I'm going to have to clear the filters because you'll see over here on the left that the filter is A and W. So I'll clear those filters. I can go to all of those groups through managing groups like I just showed you. However, there's more than one way to do something in this system. I can also click on filters here, and I can filter it by group on this page as well and do that same search and find them that way. Now, here's the really cool thing about this. I can also come over here and I can save this search. I can say replace because I've already actually created one and click save. So now when I come into my eEdge database, and I go to all contacts and I clear the filters. So now all of my contacts are here. I can actually, this is a shortcut I've just created. I can go to my searches, hit AW, and boom, there you go. So once you've pulled up every one of your groups, I would encourage you, clear the filters. So let me do this one. So let's see. There's B and E. All right, so I've got Amber in this group. I'm going to save it, and I'm going to call it B and E, and I'm going to save that. Well, now when I come to my contact, I've got a shortcut for everything right here. You don't even have to go in through this other page. It's directly from your contacts page as soon as you log in to your MyKW. For instance, let me go back and let me show you from your main dashboard on MyKW. Remember that this is where we started. So we go to View Contacts because we're looking for our groups. View Contacts takes us to our main dashboard of contacts in the eEdge system. So all of our contacts are going to be here. And now I simply can say this week I'm calling A&W and hit that, and there you go. How awesome is that? That's all there is to it. That's how you create a group. That's how you add people to the group. There's multiple ways to search and filter so that you can find them. We talked about how you add notes and the importance of doing that. And if you do this and you're consistently adding people to that database, you're going to see that 10% or better return that we've been talking about. I trust that this has been incredibly useful, and I am wishing you a fantastic day.